Hi, it's Tuesday, the 14th of January, and we're here to look at the astrology for the current times. So, the first thing I'm going to do is share the chart so you can have a look at what it looks like in an astrology program. Right, okay, so we are just past the full moon in Cancer. So, what we've got here is that the sun in Capricorn on one side of the earth, pretend the earth is in the middle. And then on the other side of the Earth, we've got the moon, which has gone past, and we have Mars. We actually had a moon-Mars conjunction, but not just a conjunction. We had something posh word in astronomy, an occultation. And what that means is the moon, the face of the moon, actually went across the view of Mars that we have from here. So it looked as if the moon had passed over Mars, if you see what I mean. And that's actually quite, an important thing. We don't get so many of those because, to be honest with you, the moon can be at different heights, different seasons, different days. And so it's not often that you actually get the actual vision of looking at the planet and then it goes because the moon goes over it. So I did get up to see it, but unfortunately, we have cloudy skies, such as astronomy. However, what it did mean for that brief time was that we lost the power of Mars just for a couple of hours. So there is the energy level drops, the barometer drops, if you like, just for a couple of hours. Anyway, the moon has since then moved on and has now entered Leo. The sun is going to oppose Mars in a couple of days. So it'll get up to 26. Actually, that's probably just less than a couple of days because Mars is retrograde, so they'll meet faster. There's a lot of energy released at that time, and I am also mindful of the fact that this thing is these two are squaring Eris. Eris, of course, is the big troublemaker in the planetary pantheon, and so we can expect a few dramas with that one. Okay, now, was there anything else I wanted to show you? Oh, yes. We've also got Venus approaching Saturn, not there yet. I'll cover that next time. But we have had, actually have at the moment, Venus squaring Jupiter. So there's a 90-degree angle between Jupiter and Venus. I'll just stop sharing as I talk to you for that one. Okay, so Venus is very much an Earth planet and brings earthly success, earthly attraction, this kind of thing. Is about the body, really, and how it can be nurtured and fed and all the things that it wants, its desires, etc. Now, Jupiter is a fire planet and very much about abstract, futuristic, but enormously about fire and confidence. So it's the real confidence of fire. So what we've got there really basically is fire square earth, really. And what those two manage to produce together usually is some kind of manifestation. So it's as if with Jupiter, we have the portal to imagine or dream. And then with Venus, we have the ability to manifest that dream, that vision. And so even though it's a square, and traditionally squares are a little bit iffy because it's frustrating, something is pushed into a corner, something has to make an action it didn't want to take, all this sort of thing. When you get these two being pushed into a corner and having to take an action, you actually get a manifestation. But it is also one of those times, I have to say, when it's be careful of what you wish for, because a stray thought can suddenly produce a flock of sheep at your back door. And as I've told you before, a flock of sheep was highly desirable in biblical times, so you should be grateful. But there we go. Anyway, Right now, there is another reason for me talking to you today, because what I want to do is bearing in mind the issues and the information that we have been looking at in the last two videos, all exciting stuff for 2025, a lot of astrology. I won't go near it again, but just suffice it to say, if you haven't seen the last two videos, oh, you should look at them, because this is stuff you'll want to know for spring. Bearing all that in mind, what I want to do now is look at how the astrology is taking us into the approach to these momentous and massive things that are going to be happening in the solar system. So what I'm going to do now then, if it's okay with you, I'm going to go back to the share and we'll look at how the cosmos, how the solar system works its way towards something and how we're being led into it. Fascinating stuff, right? Okay, so let's go back to the share. Okay. Okay, so we have to look at the sun, basically. And the reason we have to look at the sun is because, well, it's the center of our world, is it not? All the planets, including planet Earth, revolve around the sun. The sun is the spiritual heart, but don't forget that fire is deity. And so the sun is a massive indicator, metaphor for deity, for the gods, for our hopes, our dreams, our support, that wonderful, confident support that we know is there, the spiritual world. Okay, so the center of everything, the king of everything, is the sun. Right, as the sun goes through the zodiac during the year, so it is a yearly journey, and the sun starts out at 0 Aries and then moves all the way around. This is obviously the Earth's moving around the sun, but in astrology we ignore that. So the sun moves all the way around and gets back to 0 Aries again, and it takes 1 year to do that, 365 and a quarter days. Okay. As it's journeying through the zodiac signs, it is taking us on a journey, a hero's journey, if you like. There's lots of mythology and metaphors around this. And right, I was just about to go on about them, but I tell you what, I won't, because I want to tell you what I want to tell you. So the sun has taken us all the way round through the zodiac signs and is now in Capricorn. Now, I want you to think about something here which people don't actually ever think about, and I think it's important to think about these things, the relationship between the sun and the moon. Because the sun is moving through the zodiac belt, and it is only there once a year, each of the signs, when we get the full moons and the new moons, which are about the relationship between the sun and the moon, it's not actually about the moon, is it? It's about the position of the moon to the sun, let's be honest. We say a full moon and a new moon as if that's the only thing that counts, the moon. No, it's about how the earthiness, of the moon is working with the spiritual fire of the sun. Okay, so we have just had, for instance, a full moon in Cancer. But the moon might be in Cancer, but the sun's in Capricorn. Now, as the sun goes through, so the next sign is going to be Aquarius, and the sign after that is going to be Pisces. So too, the moon is dragged around, as is the Earth, and appears in these different zodiac signs. Zodiac signs are just portions of the sky around the Earth, an imaginary belt around the Earth. So as the sun is going through these different positions, the moon is going to the sun, standing by its side, opposing the sun in the opposite sign going back to the sun, standing by its side. By this time, the sun is in a new sign. So there is a new moon in the next sign. Then there is a full moon, probably in that sign, when the moon is separate. But then the moon comes back to the sun again, and the sun has moved signs. Can you see this progression and how we are being invited every single year with this journey to consider that particular theme at that particular time? And that's important because every year you're a year older, right? Unfortunately, it happens. Well, each year you're going to get repetition. You're going to get that the sun and the moon are now for that month in this particular sign. And the last time this happened to you was a year ago. And every time this happens, you're adding to your experience of that theme. Yeah? Makes sense, right? Good. Let me go back to this share now because I've got some more to add. Okay. So what is going to happen as we approach that all-important spring where the things happen around the zero Aries point, the equinoctial point, the equinox, around the 21st of March, something like that. Well, the sun is making its way through these zodiac signs, and the moon is going around and getting to the new moon, getting to the full moon, etc. So we've just had the sun in Capricorn, the moon in Cancer. Okay, tick that box. That was your experience of the Cancer-Capricorn axis from the sun in Capricorn. Now, you had the same axis amplified by the full moon 6 months ago, but then the sun was in Cancer and the moon opposed it from Capricorn. So you do get the axis itself highlighted twice a year, but it's reversed because the sun then takes the opposite side and the moon takes the side opposite to the sun. Okay. So with the sun going through the very mature, older parts of the zodiac belt, right? So we've had the last and highest fire zodiac sign, Sagittarius. That was just before Christmas. Now it was the turn of Capricorn, the old man of the zodiac, right? So this is Earth in its highest expression. All about acquisition, all about status, all about achievement. And the sun going through these signs brings its own special brand of confidence, of vision, of excitement, joy. Well, probably not joy, not in Capricorn, no, but as joyous as Capricorn gets anyway. Well lit for a time it is. Okay, so in 6 days, sun moves into Aquarius. So by the time the moon has gone around to here, it will be joining the sun in Aquarius. And then we have the new moon in Aquarius. Okay, then the moon will separate, etc. So these two are providing us with a succession or the metaphor or the imagery of a succession, which is taking us into the spring equinox. So this is the sun's last visit in Earth. So you can see what I'm going to say now, can't you? Well, if not, I'll say it anyway. This is your experience of Earth. This is when you should be practicing and looking at and getting into the head of the earth element. And so it is about what you own. It is about your money. It is about doing your taxes. We have, I can't believe this, but the UK government has organised that we have to put our tax return in. I can't believe this. Every year, I think. Imagine the UK government's organised for us to do our last minute tax return, because who on earth does it ahead of time, as this sun is in Capricorn? Hard work or what? getting all those bits of paper together, getting all those sums sorted out. But the self-employed, it's a nightmare. Every year it's a nightmare for me anyway. Maybe I'm just disorganized in this way. However, so hard work, doing your accounts, setting out your finances, doing your budgets, that kind of thing, checking out if you can afford to eat or live for the next year. There we go. Right, then it moves into Aquarius, right? And this is our final air sign, and this is about higher consciousness. This is about thinking. This is about intelligence. This is about higher intelligence, higher communication, higher communication, higher consciousness. So this is the time for doing that. Traditionally, what people tend to do, almost unconsciously, I think, is go out and network. The network meetings at that point of the year are filled with people, or trying to network and get to know a bigger group so that they can get more business, which is a small version of what Aquarius is all about. Okay. Then we will in March, so late end February, going into March, we will be in Pisces. The sun will be in Pisces. It's dying breaths. Weak. The sun is weak in Pisces. The water just overwhelms it. And the sun is at its weakest, almost like the darkest hour every night. And that is the pattern that we will be in. So when we get to those all-important events happening around the first degree of Aries and the equinox, etc., the sun has completed a long journey. And it is at that point that it is depleted, that it's in expiration. And so then it knows it has to empty out. It has to rest with the waters before gathering strength for that burst up over the horizon, or that burst into the new year. So what I wanted to do there was just give you the background of how we're being led on this journey. And it's amazing, isn't it? It's just wonderful. So thank you. And I'm just going to leave you with that, actually. Very good time to get a reading now. If you were thinking about having a reading for the year ahead, then it's time to do it now. When we're just coming up to Aquarius, that's the zodiac sign of astrology. And we've got Pluto in there giving us a big hand in terms of going over things, routing out stuff, bringing it all up, getting it all sorted. So there we go. Right, and I'm only £79 for an hour. So there you go. If it's your first one, you want 90 minutes, that's a bit more. But if you're just having an hour, it's only £79. Anyway, just thought I'd do a bit of advertising. Oh, please, I hate doing that. Never mind, just ignore me. Okay, I'm going now, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. I should have recorded this yesterday, but I had a massive hiccup over some tech stuff, so couldn't do it. Here we are, we're here now. Okay, thank you, bye-bye.